don't even know what to say right now, man. No, I don't need a box score. I don't need the box score. Okay. I don't need the darn rundown right now. I don't need anything right now. I need some time to myself. That's how I feel about this one.
Damn. Pissed off drapes.
Gauge, and it was so confusing.
Kings play down to the level of the competition, can't get their offense going, and lose to the 11th place Houston Rockets, who are now 29-35. Did you see that? The Rockets had 7 players in double figures and outscored us 32-14 in that third quarter. The Sacramento Kings lose 112-104 to the Houston Rockets. The Sacramento Kings are now 36-27, and the Houston Rockets are 29-35 and are currently in 11th place. The Sacramento Kings are still currently in 7th place, and the Dallas Mavericks are a half a game behind them with the 2-game win streak. The Kings are also a half game behind the Suns still. They had an opportunity to overtake the Suns last night, but didn't. Today is March 11th, 2024. I appreciate you joining me. Hopefully you're here for the whole video. And I want to say thank you to all you out there for tuning in and hitting that like button. And hopefully you'll also click that subscribe button as well. Y'all back? We back. Y'all back? We definitely back. And thanks for being here. What's going on, YouTube? What's going on with all my folks and all you Kings fans out there? It's your guy, Jay Woods, aka Shy the Man, and I'm back at you with another episode of The Kings Morning After. Midday Cup of Joe with Jay.
Ah! I love it.
Oh man, my cup of Joe is cold and bitter today, like me, about that Kings loss to the damn Houston Rockets. They are now 0-3 versus the damn Houston Rockets. But yeah, today is Monday.
Baby, I'ma be a motivation.
Hey, Monday.
Yeah.
The Monday gang signs. Monday. It's a motivated Monday. Let's get motivated. It's Monday, time for a new work week. We gotta get up, hustle, and grind every day. Let's get to it. Motivated Monday. Let's go. And I'll be honest, I'm not super motivated because of this, to do this show because of this loss. Kind of sucks, you know? In my opinion, it was an opportunity to beat a team that you're better than, but they're 0-3 versus this team. So are they really better than Houston? A team that's lower in the standings than them, with a worse record than them, with a losing record and a losing record on the road. They're literally 8-24 on the road after that win. 2 of them were versus the Kings. So why are the Rockets so dominant against the Kings? I'm hearing that they're one of the top 10 defensive teams, so they play really good defense. They're a young team, which I always say the Kings have trouble against these young teams. So a good defensive team plus a young team put together, I think kind of spells problems for the Kings. That's what happened last night. And we know they have a couple guys on that team that play good defense. Brooks, you know he's going to stick with his guy. Sengun is a decent defender. You know who I notice is really good on defense on that team is Fred Van Vliet. Van Vliet, or what's his name? Fred Van Vliet. I think that's his name. He's a very good defensive point guard, even for his size. He stays with guys. He's very handsy. He's always reaching and has his hand on the ball, swiping at the ball at all times. And he's always on help defense. I notice when guys drive to the basket, there's usually Sengun there, and a lot of times Van Vliet will be out there double teaming guys as well. So he's very active on defense, as well as a few of their other guys too. So, you know, the Kings are at home, though, in my opinion. You know, you got to go at these teams. To only score 109 points at home, or what was it, 104? In my opinion, is a bad night. The Kings cannot 104 points last night. For the Kings, that's a bad offensive night. 112 points. It's not like the Rockets scored a ton of points on them, but it was a lot of bad offense, some bad defense as well, but a lot of bad offense, a lot of turnovers, a lot of poor execution. You know, you can't get frazzled when you go up against a good defensive team. You have to buckle down and play defense as well. And that's my cup of joe. One creamer, no sugar. Quick stats. Oh, man, 104 points for the Kings. As I said, that's just not going to get it done offensively in this era of basketball, especially at home. You're at home. Like, come on, the basket should be a lot bigger at home. The Kings closed out the second quarter, the half well. They were up by 5. It was, what was it, 54 to 59. But they did not play well in the third, and they did not close out the fourth, or the lead that they gave up in the third was too big for them to overcome in the fourth, and they ended up losing by 8. The Rockets, like I said earlier, had 7 guys in double digits, a few with 10, but I mean, it's still double digits. Another guy who almost scored, almost 8 guys in double digits. It's a lot of scoring going around. Sounds like a lot of easy baskets to me. Leading scorer was Fred Van Vliet with 22 points. Jalen Green, the young guy out there, with 19 points. Leading rebounder was Jabari Smith, another young guy with 11 rebounds. And Fred Van Vliet with 9 assists. The Sacramento Kings leading scorer was Domantas Sabonis with 25. Malik Monk was the second leading scorer off the bench, 6th man with 20 points. De'Aaron Fox with 18. Keegan Murray pitched in 13. Harrison Barnes with 5 points, no assists, 1 rebound, just statless guy. He played 20 minutes only, so he wasn't too much of a liability, but damn, Harrison. Kevin Huerter with only 6 points, 3 assists, and 3 rebounds. He only played 25 minutes. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on with those guys. Keon Ellis played some important minutes. So did Davion Mitchell, only 8 points between those two. Domantas Sabonis continues his double-double streak with 15 rebounds, 8 big assists on the night, leading in those categories. De'Aaron Fox was just a little off last night. He did have 9 rebounds, which helps, but only 1 assist, and 18 points is a little down for him. It helps, but he didn't shoot well, so... Team stats. Both teams shot around 45, 46%. The Sacramento Kings shot 19% from three-point range. 6 of 32. That's another thing about the Kings. If they're not shooting well from three-point, they don't do other things. They need to do other things. And I also know that Mike Brown has this mentality or strategy, whatever you want to call it, you know, if you're open, let it fly. You know, three-pointers, let them go. Let them fly. Don't hesitate. Let them fly. And I disagree with that to a certain extent. Let them fly if you're hitting the shot. You know, if you're missing shot after shot after shot, it's time to do something else. Back in the hood, back at the park, back in the streets, playing street ball, there was a rule. It was an unspoken rule. If you miss 3 shots, you got to take the ball to the basket after that. You know, you got to do some other things. You got to shoot some mid-range. You got to do, really, it was go to the basket. You know, you make a couple shots, you see the ball going a few times, then you can maybe take some mid-range. You know, you see the basket going a couple times, then you could go back to shooting threes. But when you're playing street ball, guys can't just shoot three after three after three. Then you're gunning. Then you're a liability. Balls clanging off the rim for fast breaks. So I think the Kings should probably incorporate that as well. If the shot's not hitting, you got to do other things. You don't necessarily have to pass or pass up open shots, but maybe try to drive to the basket, pull the defense in, create some gravity around the basket, kick out to other guys, pass, screen, give it to the guy in the post up, do something else. To go 6-32, that's just outrageous. They shot more threes than the Rockets, who were 41% shooting a decent percentage. And they hit 12 threes. So that's 6 more threes than us. That's 18 more points in threes than us. Free throws, both sides shot decent, and free throws, Kings actually shot 87%, which is pretty good. All the other stats were pretty much even. Kings had 5 blocks, Rockets had 1. Points in the paint, Kings had 56, Rockets had 46. So they scored about 10 more points in the paint, but the Rockets scored about 18 more points from 3. And that's about the 8 points that they won by. Eye test. Yeah, eye test. Eye test. Eye test. Gonna give the Kings an eye test. De'Aaron Fox said there was a long stretch where they weren't making enough shots and the turnovers hurt them. Yeah, to say the least. I mean, they were not hitting shots. They were missing from 3, and turnovers combined is just a bad combination for a bad loss. This real lackadaisical play, man. A lot of turnovers. Domantas Sabonis turning the ball over a bunch. When these guys get down, or it seems like they're playing a good defensive team, they seem to play a little, what's the word? Nervous? I don't know what the word is, but they get a little uncomfortable. Sometimes they seem to go away from how they normally play. And the turnovers, along with the missed shots, along with the lackadaisical play, along with the unsuredness, is to me why the Kings lost this game. So that's really a bottom line, but it's also my eye test. And I always say my eye test usually leads into my bottom line. The Kings morning after bottom line. Today's bottom line is, so my bottom line is the Kings need to go ahead and find out who they are, who they're going to be, how they're going to play, what style they're going to play, who's going to be the leader. I mean, we kind of have 2 leaders, really, in my opinion. De'Aaron Fox is the most athletic guy on the team and the best scorer, or the guy that's most able to create his own shot. And Domantas Sabonis is, I want to say, our defensive anchor, and I call him the captain because he's always trying to get guys going. He's always talking to guys. He's the leading rebounder. He's the leading rebounder of the league. And he's also the leading double-double getter in the league, and first and second in triple doubles. So he's doing a lot. He's coming in there workman style. I believe the lack of scoring on offense for the Kings has to do with some of these other guys, like Kevin Huerter not scoring. Yeah, De'Aaron Fox wasn't hitting shots at a high rate, but it's not all on him. He needs help. We need a third guy to score. We need Kevin Huerter to find his shot again. We need Harrison Barnes driving to the basket and getting fouled and posting up and doing those things he was kind of doing last year, but not doing this year. And we need guys like Keegan Murray to go ahead and step up. And like, who are you going to be? Who are you going to be? Are you going to be that super athletic guy that can shoot, drive to the basket, plays D and 3, or are you going to be like the second coming of Harrison Barnes out there, which you are sometimes, with no stats, just kind of like, what are you doing out there? Those guys, I feel like, are the guys that kind of need to answer the call and step up to the plate for this team to go ahead and really succeed and to advance further in the rankings and in the playoffs. Are those guys going to step up, or are we just going to keep doing the same stuff throughout the season until we get to the end of the season, and then we have to find ways to replace those guys and find scoring? I'm not sure. Hopefully they'll step up to the plate and find a way to be part of this team and take this team to the next level. That's my bottom line. Next up, Next up is going to be another challenging game for the Sacramento Kings. Tuesday, March 12th, the Sacramento Kings will be hosting the Minnesota Timberwolves at home at 7 p.m. Be there or be square. And also, join me the day after for my next review and analysis. I'll be reviewing and talking about that game as well. So go ahead and like this video and subscribe so that you'll know the algorithm will hopefully send you that video the next time I put one out. I want to say, as of late, the Bucks were kind of having chemistry issues, maybe coaching issues. They changed coaches. They've done some things over there, and then they recently had some big games where they won really big, and Giannis and Damian Lillard had some big games in those games. As most of us know, the Bucks are led by Giannis Antetokounmpo. They recently got Damian Lillard in the past offseason. And they also have Brook Lopez as their center, Chris Middleton, Malik Beasley, Giannis's brother, Thanos Antetokounmpo, Bobby Portis, Robin Lopez, Jay Crowder. They also have Cam Payne, AJ Green, and a few other really good young up-and-coming players. Giannis Antetokounmpo is one of the most unstoppable forces in the league. We're going to have to try to keep him out the paint, keep him shooting. As long as he's not scoring past 20 points, we should be okay. Damian Lillard is obviously that three-point threat. We're going to have to guard him as soon as he crosses half court. Stay with him foot to foot. He's getting older, so he's not really trying to drive to the basket as much as he used to, but you got to guard him at the top of the key at half court. Brook Lopez is a really big man. Sometimes Demonis has trouble against those kind of big guys. He's gonna have to keep the chest on him, keep him out of the lane. If they do the double lineup, they might have to use Alex Lynn on Brook Lopez, and they have Chris Middleton, and just keep those other guys from getting a ton of shots. Bobby Portis, keep him out of the lane. As long as these guys aren't driving to the basket, getting a ton of easy shots. They're playing at home, so put a chest on guys, play some defense. They're going to have to execute well. They can't be having turnovers. They can't be having a ton of missed shots. This is a former championship team with the exception of a couple of the guys, a few of the guys, but this is a high-level team. And this is a second-place team on the East. They're 42-23. We need to come out and play them as such, even though we're at home. We can't come out lackadaisical. We're going to have to come out with force early. Domantas Sabonis is going to have to establish his position down low early, play with force early. The same with De'Aaron Fox. He's going to have to come in, driving to the basket, using that two-man game early. Don't start off this game shooting a bunch of shots, shooting a bunch of threes. I mean, if you drive and kick and you're open, yes, but that shouldn't be the first option. I feel like they need to show their presence down low, show their dominance down low. Domantas Sabonis post up hard. De'Aaron Fox drive to the basket and use that mid-range and get it going like that. Close out the second quarter, the half, and then close out at the end of the game. And hopefully these guys can pull out a victory against the Milwaukee Bucks. Betting line. So even though there's no odds for the Kings tonight, there are some other games playing, obviously. The Pistons are at home versus the Hornets. They're favored by 4.5. Phoenix Suns are in Cleveland playing the Cavs. The Suns are favored by -7. And the Bulls are at home playing against the Mavericks, who are favored by 4. And the Spurs are at home playing against the Warriors, and the Warriors are favored by 5. So how do you feel about those games? You guys could make bets no matter where you're at. Use Bet Us. Use Bet Us. The link is below in the description. If you want to do sports bet on any of these games or on any sports, they do. Well, football's not a season, but they do all sports as well. It's a full sports book. So go check out Bet Us. The link is in the description, and it helps out the channel as well. Thank you. Hey, I got a couple comments. I want to say I really appreciate you guys for leaving comments. It really helps me out. It'll help me kick the algorithm's ass. And as always, I ask all of you, please, if you're watching, make a comment, say something. I don't care, say anything. My guy Shan commented. He said, nice work, Jay. Subscribe, 100. I appreciate that, Shan. That puts a smile on my face. I thank you for commenting, and I really appreciate you subscribing. I promise I'm going to send you some more good content. And Securing the Bagley. Also comment. I really appreciate that, Securing the Bagley. Keep it up, bro. Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. It's a vote of confidence. You know, we all sometimes need a little vote of confidence to know what we're doing is right. We know what we're doing is okay. So I appreciate you guys spending a second to make a comment, and I appreciate you guys for subscribing as well. Securing the Bagley is one of my guys from the DLO and KC show. We make comments on the chat and stuff. I haven't been commenting as much lately, but I know Securing the Bagley still does because they mention them on the radio all the time. I do listen to the show on the radio every day, though, and I'll call in sometimes here and there. So listen for me on the DLO and KC show as well. I do call up every now and then. But I just want to say thanks again, guys, and make a comment. If you guys make a comment, I'll post it on my next video if you comment before the next video comes out. Thanks, guys. A question for you guys. How do you guys feel after the current loss? The Kings are really making a case for themselves being in a play-in game. Do you feel they'll be one of the top 6 teams, or do you feel like they'll be a play-in team? Or do you feel like they're going to fall out the playoffs altogether? Comment below. Let me know. Hey, if you're still watching, I really appreciate that. I ask that you like the video. You've obviously liked something I've said, right? A little bit of entertainment value. Go ahead and click that like button. Help me kick the algorithm's ass. Also, please subscribe. I'm new, but I'm trying to grow the channel. If you like talking Kings, you like hearing Kings talk or hearing Kings news or anything like that, go ahead and click that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. And also make a comment. Making comments helps as well. If you can share the comment, I appreciate that as well. Share the video, be like, hey, look at this guy, he talks Kings, he's pretty cool. Or you can be like, hey, look at this guy, he's trash, he's horrible. I don't care, but share the content. I appreciate that as well. And I have a motivational quote for you guys today. All right, this quote is from Calvin Coolidge. This one is kind of long, so let's see if we can put it together and understand this. Nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than an unsuccessful man with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. The slogan, press on, has solved and always will solve the problems of the human race. And that's from Calvin Coolidge. Nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than an unsuccessful man with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. The slogan, press on, has solved and always will solve the problems of the human race. So, bottom line, press on. And that's pretty much all that I have for you guys today. I really appreciate you joining me. And like I just said, if you're still watching, go ahead and click that like button. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. It'll really help me out. It'll help the channel. It'll help kick the algorithm's ass. And I want to say thank you for joining me on another episode of The King's Morning After. Midday Cup of Joe with Jay. Yeah. And with that, I'm out. But before you go, check out my moves. It's good.